Near the center of the Milky Way, stars are doing something they should not be able to do. They race through space, then curve sharply, as if circling a target no one can see. Infrared observations reveal the pattern. A dense swarm of stars, orbit after orbit, every path bending toward the same dark point. Then the image freezes. The center looks empty. If nothing important is there, those stars should scatter in different directions. Instead, they stay locked to an invisible focal point. Dozens of orbital tracks converge on darkness. Something in that darkness is organizing the region around it, not by being seen, but by being obeyed. And once those orbits are mapped, one explanation begins to fail. Seeing is no longer required for control. One star changes everything. Its name is S2. Over decades of observations, astronomers watched it sweep around Sagittarius A star. Not once, not as a rough estimate. They tracked the entire orbit. As S2 approaches its closest point, its motion changes dramatically. It accelerates. The curve tightens. Then the path closes. A complete loop around what still looks like empty space. For a while, a simpler idea survives. Maybe the center contains a crowded cluster of hidden stars. Maybe enough small objects packed together could create the same effect. Then the measurements keep arriving. If the mass were spread out, S2 would follow a different path. It does not. The orbit remains tightly bound to a remarkably compact location. One explanation after another falls away. The image has not changed. The center is still dark, but the scale has. S2's orbit reveals something that outweighs roughly 4 million suns. Not scattered across the region, concentrated. A hidden object can outweigh millions of stars. And that changes the meaning of those earlier orbit tracks. They are no longer evidence that something is there. They are evidence that something at the center of the galaxy carries extraordinary influence. For a while, that seems like enough. A black hole weighing 4 million suns sits at the center of the Milky Way. The stars nearest to it accelerate. Their orbits tighten. Their motion matches the prediction. The picture appears complete. The center is hidden. The mass is not. For the first time, the mystery feels smaller. A black hole weighing millions of suns appears to explain everything. Which means the next challenge is no longer proving that something powerful is at the center. It is whether that power can actually explain as much as it now appears to. The bright central bulge shrinks. Spiral arms spread outward. More stars appear. Then more. Then more. Then scale enters the story. 4 million suns sounds overwhelming until it is compared with the galaxy around it. The Milky Way contains hundreds of billions of stars. Its total mass is estimated at hundreds of billions of solar masses. Sagittarius A star accounts for less than 1/100th of 1% of that total. A ruler controlling the entire galaxy should not be this small. The ratio changes everything. If the black hole truly ruled the entire galaxy through direct gravitational force, its influence should remain obvious far beyond the core. It does not. The outer spiral arms stretch across tens of thousands of light years. Billions of stars moving through regions where Sagittarius A star is no longer the dominant gravitational actor. The black hole is still there. The mass is still there. But the explanation is no longer enough. Back at the core, the tight stellar orbits still matter. S2 still curves around Sagittarius A star. The nearby stars still accelerate toward the same dark point. Nothing about that evidence disappears. But its meaning changes. Those fast-moving stars were never proof that every corner of the Milky Way was being pulled around like a puppet. They were proof that the galaxy has a defined center, a stable heart, a place around which larger structures could organize. For a while, control sounded like domination. One powerful object forcing everything else to obey. But that idea failed when the scale became visible. A ruler issues commands. A center does not. Yet galaxies still form around centers. The difference matters. The earlier orbit tracks now mean something different. The stars circling that dark point were not showing a ruler issuing orders. They were revealing the architecture of the galaxy itself. The center was not consuming the Milky Way. It was giving the Milky Way a center to exist around.